Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Chris from Sonarrcrds, and today I'm just going to go over a mix from a fellow by the name of Gabe, or a song rather, that I mixed. This fellow named Gabe wrote it. He posted it in the URM Facebook group, which was super nice of him. It's a very cool song. I had a lot of fun with it, and someone in the comments section asked for a video, so here we go. Let's start with drums, and I used two different kits. I used the Taylor Larson Lou Collin kit 1 and then the Taylor Green kit, and they're both super good kits. I like both of them a lot. I use both kicks from the Green kit. I use the snare, and then I use the toms, and then equally I used the exact kit that came with the Taylor kit. So let's get just the shells in here real quick. No overheads or cymbals or anything. And let's hear just the shells. Really cool. Let's hear the toms too. It's really cool. So I did no individual processing on those kicks. Sorry. However, on the bus I did. So I'm gonna go through those real quick. I'm just gonna try to breeze through this video. So I will. Won't be like a time lapse sort of deal, obviously, but I'm gonna breeze through, and you can see the decisions that I'm making, and so on and so forth. So that kick is starting to sound super killer. Let me actually just go to the mixer view real quick. I think that'll be a little bit easier. And then we have the Taylor Larson Lou Collin snare. And on that, let me mute that second snare real quick for now. And I just did two things here. I hit it with the transient designer, just a little more attack, brought the output gain down. And then toss a little EQ on it, just some of the 3K. Cool. Nothing on the Green kit snare. I did use all the rooms and everything though, and it is bounced out stereo, so we are covering a lot of space there. And then on the bus, plugin is really cool and it's free. So, it's by Ven Audio. Go check that out. It's a really cool free clip. And that was it for the snares. The next, we have the room mics, which I'll solo those out here. Go to a busy part with the snares and toms and everything. Not a whole lot. When you add them in with the shells, however, that's when it really starts to take hold. I'll I'll have it off and then I'll bring it in. Let me loop this whole part. I'll play it once with it off, and when it comes to loop, it'll have the room mics in there. So those are really huge, really cool. I like those a lot. And then we have the reverbs, which I process the snare reverbs together, just EQ. And then we have cymbals. We have a room, an overhead, direct, and then a hi-hat spot mic. Then we have the drum bus. Like a parallel comp bus, but instead I'm doing like a saturation sort of deal. It's a little bit of both. Then we have these hi-hats here, these electric hi-hats. Then we have the bass. So there are 4 bass tracks. This one's the Impact Studios nuclear bass, and then these are the Inferno low, high, and then mid-range tracks. When you hear them, well, actually, rather, I bust the Inferno all out to one bass bus, and I left the nuclear as is. I added that in for a little seasoning afterwards, so it wasn't as important to begin with, and then it became important later. So I'll show you that after I go through these 3. Now, when you hear these 3, it's going to sound unpleasant. There's going to be a lot of that high range frequency, but when you see me bring in everything that's on the bass bus, you'll start to understand why that happened. Our bass just really controlled the entirety of that track. For the better, I would say. It's just really good. I really like it. Then on guitars, I used the Odin on those. Really neat. I like that a lot. It's a really cool plugin. Started it with the TSE 808. Let me play everything in there with it. That'd be really neat. This is just because there's a lot of extra pick attack since they're sampled guitars, so I just took a little bit of it off. On the guitar bus is where the guitars really shine. And then we have this little intro glitch guitar. Now I cooked that with the TSE 808 just to give it a little grime, and then took out the ending part of it and made it its own little track, just to have like a filter sort of effect without using a filter. I did EQ that one pretty heavily, and we'll listen to it with that. So that's pretty cool. Then we have this lead guitar track that he put. It's kind of like a panning modulated lead. It's really neat. That's it for guitars, and then there's just post, which I always find is what allows people to put their signature flair on songs. So I'm gonna breeze through post probably more so than I did anything else so far. I'm just gonna let it play, and I'm gonna start with the most prevalent ones, and then I'll work backwards from there. I'm just going to go over my quick little master that I did. Let me start this song a little earlier here. This is another free plugin, A1 stereo control. It's really neat. I'm just boosting the stereo with a little bit, adding safe bass, which is making everything under 80 hertz mono. A little bit of SSL, just doing a little filtering, adding a little high shelf, and a little smidge of a bump at 60. really just adding some presence, but controlling the mid, range, and low end right there. And then we have the post, which is basically just, I found that, I don't know what it is about Studio One, but if you put these two plugins in this part of the chain, it sounds different than down here, and I might be crazy. If you use Studio One and you do something similar, let me know if I'm crazy or not, or if you felt crazy by thinking the same thing. I chose the gray for the mix compression. And that's it. So I'm just gonna let the song play out, and that's it. Thanks for checking it out. Have a great day.